All right, hey everybody, welcome to Comic Book Radio with Publishing Pete. That's me. Who else would it be? I don't know. Well, thank you guys for joining today. We have a bunch of things to talk about, unless you have things to talk about, which I'm way more interested in what it is you have to talk about. That's mostly the point of this show. But in case we never get any guests, I do have a couple of things that I could talk about. First of those being, I was a little bit late, Eric. A little bit late. Saving that for later. You know me so well. I was maybe like a minute late. Right? I was like a minute late. Bristolian Dave is all right, me babbers. Yeah, I know. You see, you can't say that, Eric. You can't say late and then say just saving that for later and then put it anyway. That's redundant. Ben says college rules. If the professor 10 minutes late, class is canceled. Well, I'm not 10 minutes late. And if I was 10 minutes late, I'd agree. Yeah, you could cancel the show then and walk away. That's fine. I wouldn't cancel the show. I would keep doing it, but I don't begrudge you any if you chose to walk away. That's fine. I'd be sad, though, but I'd understand. Hey, Geronimo says class is in session. It is in session now, that's for sure. Ben Soto says, to Geronimo, well, I'm excited. My neck is extending. Okay, all right. Brian says, hey, what's up, Brian? What's up? I just talked to you last night. Yes, a great show last night on Pop XP channel. You guys could go check that out. They're live streaming again. Finally, the ban has been lifted. The spell has been broken. The curse is over. Pop XP can live stream once more. You guys, check it out. Great channel. But you guys know that already. And if you don't, I don't know why I have to tell you. I mean, you should be watching them. But I'm telling you. Go check out the Pop XP, formerly Crowdfunding Comics. They have now got that suspension lifted. They can live stream once more. It was a great show. Very, very big thanks to them for having me on. Bristolian Days is such a great time for the U.S. in the UK or for us in the UK. You might have to clarify. Did you want to come on this show and clarify? I don't know what you mean by that. Ben Soto, hey. Yeah, well, you've been talking in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Miriam says, hey, guys. Hey, Pete. Loved your video on markers. Someone appreciated that. Yeah, someone appreciated that. Thank you, Miriam. See? People saying, oh, a marker video. You know, what are you doing? Well, the thing is that it's important also for the creators out there to know, I've done the work for them. I bought the markers for them so they didn't have to. It's important for them to know how to properly sign the books, what markers work. Literally the only ones that dry to this day. And I auctioned off those books on the Geronimo Draws auction stream. But it was like, I don't even know. What is that, a week or two ago? I can't even remember. It's a long time. None of those other markers are dry yet on those covers except for the Sharpie. The Sharpie's the only one. Right? So if you guys want signatures on those covers, and you want them to smear everywhere, you want to make sure you're getting Sharpie. Hey, Ara, how's it going? D, what's up? Shane, thank you. You guys are coming in now. You're pouring in. That's great. Says, hello, all. Dave, you not making sense again? Yeah, I don't know, Dave. I don't know. Clarify. Genuine Comics says, hello, Genuine. GJ, what's up? Hey. I got some things to show, but again, and talk about. But again, if we get guests in here, then I'll defer to them. They can let me know what they would like to talk about. Aloise, how's it going? Bristolian says, apparently my English is crap, even though I'm English. I meant this time for streaming is great for us in the UK. It's like 9 p.m. here. Oh, okay. I thought it was like something great was going on for the US and the UK. So this time is good for you guys. All right. Yeah, I think the way it syncs up with the time difference, I think it is better for you guys than a late show. I think it's too late for you guys. At least if I was over there, it would be too late for me. Pedro says, hey there, chat. What's up, Pete? What's up, Pedro? How's it going? Nerium says, exactly. There are different types of covers and colors on covers and coating, and thus it's great to know which markers to use. Sharpie is the way. And I didn't think Sharpie would be the way. I recommend 100% the bronze Sharpie. The gold is okay. I don't recommend the silver. I find that pigment is a little too, it clogs the nib. Eric says, crayons don't smear. They do smear. Yeah, crayons smear. They're wax. Especially on a glossy coating, you can smear crayon. Absolutely. NTM Comics, how's it going? Tony E says, UK represent. A few here. Yeah, we got a few UKers joining us. I'm in New England. They're in Old England. Brian Blevin says, it is actually a sad day in the UK right now. Oh, no. I don't know what happened. Is it really a sad day? I have no idea what's going on there. No idea. Pedro says, the humble Sharpie saves the day. Exactly. 100%. D says, which marker fumes made you happiest? None of them have fumes. None of them. I don't like marker fumes. That's gross. Ugh. Some people complain about the Copic markers having fumes. It was just alcohol based. I don't really ever get a problem from them. I don't smell them or anything. I smell alcohol, like rubbing alcohol with Copic markers, but not like fumes, you know. Oh, Brian says Prince Philip's funeral is today. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Razmaz, hey, how's it going, Razmaz? Ara says, I always get the best autographs from Pete. Oh, thank you so much, Ara. Appreciate that. All right. So let's see. We got a couple guests waiting in the wings now. Let's see how they are doing. Let's get to them. We've got Sketch Therapy. What's up, Sketch? What's on your mind?
Hello, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm happy to see you. Happy to see you're out here talking to the people. It's wonderful.
I'm happy to see you, too. Although I can't really see you. I can just imagine you. I can hear you.
My condolences, of course, to the people of the United Kingdom. They're not all monarchists, but they do know that some of their family and friends will be. So inevitably, someone you know is hurting if you're from over there or you got people over there. So whatever you think about, the family and the monarchy and all this stuff, you got to recognize that a lot of these people felt the connection and they're feeling a little pain. So my heart goes out to them, of course.
Understood.
What did you think about Falcon? Have you seen any of it? How is it looking to you? I know you don't like to, talk too much about their comics because their comics are terrible. But as a whole,
Falcon show?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have Disney Plus. I could care less.
Oh, me neither. I wouldn't. They don't believe in money, so I don't believe in paying. You got to told them out there.
I don't pirate it either because I value my time more than my money.
No, I understand that.
I totally get where you're coming from, though. I wish I had an opinion on it. The only thing I know of Falcon is from the movies, and I haven't actually seen the last one I saw was I think Thor Ragnarok, and I thought it was crap. That's the last one I saw.
I liked it, but it was weird. I don't know any of the original stuff that went.
I thought it was a great Lego Thor movie. I thought it would have been awesome as that.
It was definitely colorful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to.
What are your thoughts? Yeah.
Falcon was always black, right? So I didn't really want him wearing this white guy's clothes because that's not what makes a black guy better. Wearing white people's clothes or wearing white people's titles is not. I mean, I'm black, and I'm light skinned, but if you look at my nose and my big fat lips, you're kind of African, right? So there's that side of me that look, Falcon was always black. He never needed this.
Is he not on the show?
He is on the show, but
okay,
make him Cap. So there's that side, and there's the side of me that's, you know what? I'm kind of not mad at a black guy being proud of the American flag and the colors. That doesn't make me mad, though.
Fine.
So I'm kind of okay with that side. So I'm torn. I'm kind of torn because the way they're putting it down, it's like, Bucky, he's not self-defined. He's like, well, this guy wanted you to be that, and this guy thought I was that, but he's not defining himself, right? And when you look at Falcon is kind of like dealing with trouble with the past, with loving his country and knowing its dark past. So what I would like to see, this is my perfect dream of how it would go, even though I don't pay commies, so I wouldn't, I saw it at a friend's house. But my perfect scenario here is that he takes the Wakandan Falcon suit because his got broken, Spoilers. Maybe a little late for that, but spoilers. So
yeah, don't give away too much. I mean, I don't care about this show.
but
If we had a private
guys in
conversation,
the
we
chat,
could
they
spoil
probably
the whole
wouldn't
thing.
mind.
But just in case, does anybody? Well, actually, first, does anybody in the chat care about this show or about any kind of spoilers or anything? Because if you do care about spoilers, I don't know if Sketch is going to spoil anything.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Let me know.
They're kind of driving it to where Bucky has no self-definition, and kind of like, you know, Falcon is talking to him about that. Like, look, forget what other people thought you were. You got to define what you were. So what I'd like to see, he asked for some help from Wakanda, right? I think he's going to get a new suit, right? He might get a suit that has the stars and stripes. And even though I don't want to see him become Cap, I would like to see a black man that's proud of the flag and all this. This is my desire. This is not something that's happening in the show. What I would like to see is that even then it goes further in the arc, and Bucky and Falcon says, you know what, Wakandans, just give me a suit with my old colors. And Bucky takes the shield. He's like, I don't care who Cap thought should have the shield. I don't care who anyone thinks should have the shield. This is my friend's shield, and I'm gonna carry. I don't even care what he thought about it. I define myself as the shield wielder, and he takes the shield. And you know, he would only give him to someone that he thought, you know, deserved it. Definitely not U.S. agent. Even though I gotta side with U.S. agent because he kind of killed a terrorist, and I'm like, that guy's a terrorist, and people are like, oh, he killed him cold blood. What cold blood? This guy, one punch, he can kill anyone in that crowd. He can jump one leap, fall on the crowd, and kill 3 people, and he just killed someone. You got to take the terrorist out. His hands are weapons. You can't just let him get loose or try to. You can't put guns on him.
I wish that I could contribute something to this conversation.
No,
I feel like it's a one-sided conversation.
I'll put the conversation out there for the chat. If you guys agree with where I'm going with this, or you think like that's the only good scenario, of course, don't pay people that aren't, you know, you don't pay commies. You give your money to good people who believe in the free market, like Mr. Samedi over here, right? But that was like what I had in my hand, like a topic that people might get into a little bit. They need to write a little better. I wish they had better writers. Okay. I wish we could get our stuff into, like, you know, becoming whatever you guys want it to become. You know, not that we're making stuff for that, but if it fits and it gets like, you know what I'm talking about? If they like it, they like it. Let them take it into a movie.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Shane, I think I kind of feel the way you feel, okay, but I care that Sketch cares.
Eric, that's no fair because he hadn't seen it. If he had seen it, we'd have a two-way conversation.
I know. I wish I did.
On my channel, Eric, and we have a two-way.
I mean, I'm so out of the loop with all that I'm like, what happened to Captain America? Why is his shield not his?
Well,
that's how out of the loop I am of all of that.
We don't have to get into. I just wanted to you know, because there's like this racial thing and some white people are uncomfortable. I want to give it like I do want to see a black man proud of the colors, and I also want Falcon to be himself. And I'm like a Marvel guy, but I'm also a black guy. You understand what I'm saying?
Are they making him like ashamed or something, or?
Well, they're kind of mixing the Tuskegee experiment and the Tuskegee Airmen, which are two very different things with the same name.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they're kind of doing that to make a superhero soldier that was made by some of the SJWs. It was like red, white, and black or something like that.
Oh my God.
My
brain hurts.
Yes, I didn't like it, but I think they did it a lot more subtly. Well, not subtle. They kind of like that were a little bit overt about it, but the comic is a lot worse. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. I'm just saying, as a black person that loves America, I'd like to see him wear the colors, be proud of it, and then like, okay, but I'm Falcon, so I'm gonna let these colors go and be myself.
Yeah.
Falcon.
Sketch, do you have a channel? Do you have a channel at all?
Well, I kind of talk sometimes on my sketch therapy channel. I was gonna do an interview with Adam Post soon, but I usually talk about just like comic book stuff, about crowdfunding, like giving crowdfunding advice. Be strong. Don't show weakness, because if you show weakness, we think you won't be able to deliver. You understand what I'm saying? That's one. Two, have a thick skin. Build a platform. If you got 3 followers and you launch a project, don't get mad because other people don't promote it to you, because you're the one that started without an audience. You got to start with an audience, or what do you?
Everyone starts somewhere. It's usually at the bottom, at 0.
I like to give an example as an example, Charlie's London, because she started from the bottom. Now she's here. You know, she got like a license. She built up her channel over time. She was monetized before she launched. That's what I would suggest, because it's not just that you get a whole bunch of pity followers. You also got to have those watch hours. Are people watching you? Because you
Well,
can
yeah, you know, I mean, that's the thing that's funny is that I started at zero. I didn't work. I mean, I started Alterna when I was 21, right out of college. I didn't work for another publisher. I didn't have anything published. I thought that Alterna would just be a place I could learn as much as I possibly could about making comics. I didn't think I was ready to work for someone else. And I figured, 2, 3 years, I'll do this. And then, you know, I'll get my own stuff out there and I'll move on. I'll go somewhere else. And that never happened. So I don't know if a lot of people know that about me, but I never worked for anybody else. I just learned as much as I could and worked with as many people as I could. And, you know, you build up. You don't start with, I don't know. Some people think that
you're a comic book savant.
some people think that, you know, I don't know. I guess they see maybe the end result of a lot of different people. And they think that they just got there. And that's all that, you know, just pull out. All of a sudden one day you're a success or whatever it is. And it's not like that pretty much for just about anybody. You start at the bottom, you start at zero, you start, you know, in the beginning.
And there's a lot of bumps in the road. I remember that you hit a couple of bumps and you like weathered them.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, now you're doing good. And yeah, I know it's a long, hard road out of you know, BS.
Yeah, just everybody's got to be patient with themselves. I think people want, you know, all that success. They want it now. They want, you know, all this stuff that you got to let time pass. You got to put in the work. You got to, you know, you got to earn it. And some people, I don't think they want that. They want the shortcut.
Quote the Red Lobster. Take responsibility. Not the Red Lobster.
I like Red Lobsters. I like those buns.
I'm gonna quote
the
Peter,
biscuits.
take responsibility. Very important that you take responsibility for the platform you build, for the marketing you reach. It's good to come on these shows, but don't be a victim, because that's not going to get you funding. That's going to get you side eyes. So
no, and also being a victim is not good for you. You know, you end up being in this perpetual cycle of misery.
Well, if the problem is never in your hands, you can never solve it. It's always in someone else's hands. You have no control.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank you for having me and having my Falcon rant. It was a little bit one-sided, but I understand that
you make me want to watch it. I'm not watching it, but you make me want to watch it. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're invested.
You know, that might be the sign that it's kind of good. I still, as a company, am like not giving them a cent, but I don't know that the writers hate me. Number one. And you know, I'm just like, you know, keeping an eye on things, see where the market's going to go with these Disney people too, see what's working, what's not. I've heard they got some big changes coming. I won't trust anything till I see it happen, but they're talking about they're making some big changes in Disney. And you know what, whatever happens. I just hope it makes comics popular, and by extension indie comics more popular.
Yeah, I hope what happens with things like this, with anything in the mainstream, I hope people look at it and they go, yeah, it's all right. I want to see what else is out there, though. I hope they discover other books, and then they go,
one last thing that has to do with distribution, and that's that when Diamond rose, comics died in Puerto Rico and worldwide, because they locked it up to stores that were just like basically comic book stores. And they didn't have, like you have like some venues where you could put them places. We talked about this before. And people get that, where they could put it in a store, they could put it in Barnes & Noble, they could put it whatever. And they don't have that exclusivity stuff. But over here, the thing that killed comics, and I imagine worldwide, is that we couldn't get it at the pharmacy. We couldn't get it at any store. And so
yeah, I mean, that goes back to them starting to treat it primarily as a collector's item and not just as reading material.
If it starts to become more
material,
you're going to have more people go into indie. You're going to have more normies getting to comics, and that's going to lead into more normies going beyond normie into, like, you know, true blue.
Yeah, I want to see out there, if you've got kids, you know, or nieces or nephews, they want to set up the lemonade stand. So you know what, maybe set up a comic book stand.
Yeah,
sell some comics.
Look, it taught me to read. I didn't get
or sell some comics with the lemonade.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, that's a combo. I didn't get into reading like Stephen King or a couple of Clive Barker or a couple of people that I read until I read comics like X-Men. That the whole Marvel Exodus areas from right before the Exodus to Image to the creation. That was my era, and it got me reading. The excitement, these different companies, indie stuff. It got me reading, and I got such a passion for reading that I started reading other stuff. So I always encourage that. And you know what? These companies may be bad, but when they do their job right, they are going to generate more interest.
Even if you don't like the new stuff, there's so many back issues for decades upon decades. You couldn't possibly read all of them, and so many of them, I mean, we all know this already, but so many of them are so much better than anything new that's out right now. I mean, an average issue, in the back issue bin, is generally, at least in my opinion, and probably in many other people's opinions as well, on average, I think is better than 90% of what gets released today.
Yep. Well, once again, pleasure talking to you. I don't want to keep the people waiting. Thanks for having me. Shout out to everyone. Hail Comicsgate, and get out there and do your thing. Be strong.
Thank you so much, Sketch. You have a great day, man. All right, very nice. I wish I could contribute something to that conversation about the Falcon show, but I don't know. I don't care for it, and I haven't seen it. Sorry, Sketch. I wish I could talk to you about it. Kalis is Diamond. I worked in 2 shops, damaged items, late shipments, missing items, spending more money on books to get it. Yeah, it's a headache. The distribution thing, along with the publishers and then the retailers and everybody's all just, we could have that whole conversation all over again, but I'd rather not. Everybody get out there. You guys know what's up. You guys know the books that are out there. They're all great. You guys know where to find them. And as far as getting them in front of people too, this is always something that's I don't know. It was frustrating to me before, but now it's just humorous to me when people say, well, if they're not in the store, how they're going to find it. I think, well, Amazon's doing great. I don't think there's really Amazon stores. And then all this other online shopping that does great. Crowdfunders are not in stores. That's crowdfunding. That's online. And then you're usually using social media to advertise and promote. Even I'd love to say the big publishers don't just do that. I'd love to say that they put ads out, they, put commercials and all that other kind of stuff. I'd love to say that, but they don't. They really don't. And when they do, it's like a little bit, and then you'll never see it again. So most of the advertising and marketing is social media. It's online. So what's quicker than putting a link right to the product? They purchase it, and then they get it in a couple of days. They go to the store, and not to knock comic shops, because this is something also that they have to work on too, because they really have to kind of unite and put their foot down about all the crazy crap going on with publishers and distribution. But that's a whole other story. Comic shops, even if they get the book in and then they say, okay, we'll order it from Diamond. And even if Diamond has it or whatever it may be, and they ship it to them, it's still a whole process. It's going to be longer than if the person actually just orders and clicks and they go right to the publisher or the creator and order online. So online sales, I mean, it's been saving a lot of shops, publishers, and creators. And, I wish that the shops were booming. I wish the comics were everywhere. I really, really do. But unfortunately, this is the reality we have to deal with. So you got to run your business the way you got to run it. You got to do what it takes to survive. All right. Next caller, guest, streamer. I don't know how to word it anymore. I'm old school. What's up, George Peter Gatzes? What's on your mind?
A couple of things. Joe King is 10 hours away from finishing the campaign, and last chance for anyone to get a spaceship with the oversized books. And that out of the way, Peter, are you ever going to do another movie?
No, hell no. They could purchase rights from me if they want. I would never do another movie again.
May I ask why? Because
I usually don't say never to a lot of things, but what a nightmare it was.
It was.
It was an absolute nightmare.
What was
the best part about it? Was probably, I would say, getting to talk to Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper was fantastic. Yes, other than that, everything top to bottom that you could think of when it comes to making a movie for me anyway, was such a headache and such a nightmare and such a fiasco that I would never, ever, ever want to do it again. And if someone wanted to purchase the rights or option something or this and that, and honestly do whatever the heck they wanted to do to it, I could care less. Go for it. Knock yourself out with a movie adaptation. Comics is where I am.
Cool.
If you want to make a movie, though, go right ahead.
No, I'm already doing it. It's a lot of fun, but I'm a movie person of one. I model and animate my own stuff. But I'm curious, what led to making a movie? I mean, what was the spark? What was the inspiration?
We got a lot of interest in the beginning when the book came out, and we had like Brad Pitt's production company, Plan B. We had Rob Zombie's production company get a hold of us. We had a bunch of other people along the way, and they all thought that it was good, but it was too dark because it was grounded. They wanted to like supernatural it up and do all this other stuff. And at the time, I was really gung-ho about maintaining the integrity of the story in itself. And I didn't really want to do those things to the story. I definitely, looking back now, would have just been like, sure, make me an offer. We'll just, you can option it if you'd like. But at the time, I was like, no, I want to make sure if we do a film that it stays true to the story, true to the comic. So I ended up making a script with my wife. She had edited the graphic novel back in the day. Man,
Yes.
that's an old book, 2008, 2000. No, actually at the time, because she was working on it when we were doing print on demand issues too. So 2006.
Yeah.
So that was a while ago. And 2008 is when the graphic novel came out. And that's when it got attention from people in Hollywood. But we started working on a script, and then I started getting in touch with other people and, get a director on board. Then you get interested actors and so on and so forth. And it kind of gets rolling along. But the thing is that it was all fun and games and really exciting until the cameras start rolling. And then people become very different people. And it was a very, very strange process. It was, I would not do it again. I don't want to speak too unkindly of many of these people, but it was a headache, and it was something that I found out more about me in terms of I really like making comics. I like the comic book world more, even though that's not a headacheless world either. It's just more my passion. My passion is not really filmmaking, but looking back at it, you can't really change the past. So I'm glad we did it. I learned from it, and that's it. And like I said, getting to talk to Roddy Piper was fantastic. I mean, he was the greatest. One of those things where people say you don't want to meet your heroes, you don't want to talk to your heroes because they're going to disappoint you and let you down. Roddy was just all that and more. I mean, he was fantastic. He didn't let me down at all. He superseded any kind of expectation I could ever have imagined of ever talking to him or anything. He was so down to earth. He would call up just to talk about trying to, an idea he had for the character, wanted to make sure that it was right by me, because he wanted to make sure that he did something with my approval. He was one of the only actors that did that. And the conversation would go from talking about that to talking about life. He would talk to me about, how I got involved with comics, talking to me about my family, my upbringing. He would talk to me as well about his family and his, coming up in wrestling and everything else, and his career and the fans and the shows that he's done along the way. And, just a very, very humble guy, always talking about family and the fans that he treated like family. So I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot about not just about appreciating where you came from, but also appreciating who has helped you along the way. To see someone that's a worldwide international superstar like Roddy was, I mean, unbelievably humble. But it makes sense because people would line around the building to see him. He was a great guy. But yeah, that's the only thing that I really loved out of that movie. Everything else, I could take it or leave it.
Wow. And I got a couple more questions, but how much of time of your life did that movie take? How long was the production for?
The production to film it was really fast. It was like 3 weeks. Post-production was like 2 years because it was a nightmare.
Wow.
Pre-production was about a year and a half. And then just afterwards with everything, I mean, so much because of the way that the the kind of the film, the way that certain people got involved with the film and certain things that they represented themselves to be as, you know, they could do this for the film, that for the film, and whatever. And none of that panned out. It was just people talking shit. And so, you know, I put my trust in them because I'm like, this is not my world. This is yours. I trust you. You know, I don't really have a reason not to. And I was naive about that. And I would never go back into doing film again. No way. I think the only way, if I ever even got involved with this, I'm still not happening. But I would seriously have to direct the film. I would have to do a lot of things top to bottom because of the fact that there's just a lot of stuff that goes on that you're just not aware of when you're kept at arm's length, and they'll keep you at arm's length. I mean, they filmed certain things and kept it in there that they said, oh no, we're just testing this out. We're just trying a scene. Oh, and I was like, that's not in the script. And it doesn't make any sense with the plot. And we had to wrestle with that like crazy in the editing process of the film.
Well, because, you know, you're the big cheese on this, will we ever see something like the art of book experience regarding the graphic novel plus the script plus storyboards and notes and stuff? I'm not talking about the drama. I'm just talking about just the pure art of how your movie got made and notes behind the scenes, stuff like that.
Well, they mostly just use the graphic novel as like a storyboard type of thing for them. They didn't really want storyboards created. It wasn't anything like that. It was a very low budget movie. I think around maybe 150,000, something like that for the whole film budget. And so it wasn't really like a big production of sorts. It was filmed out in LA. And at the time that they were filming, we had a really terrible snowstorm over here in New England. It was like 100 something inches of snow. I think it was, I want to say February 2015. So if any New Englanders in here, which I know there are some, I think you guys can remember February 2015. It was a really, really awful time. It was historic, actually, over 100 something inches of snow. So I was completely snowed in, especially the apartment that I was at the time. We couldn't even leave for like 4 days because it was completely packed. They couldn't even get a plow in. Wow. So we were hunkered down. And again, though, that's one of the things that I regret, because at the time it was, I was talking to Roddy. He texted me and I told him how I was snowbound, and he was laughing about it, saying how he remembers being snowbound back in Canada, back in the time he'd spend there. Yeah. And he was saying how, oh, don't worry, brother, we'll meet, sometime soon. And so he was going to be at a convention in Massachusetts a couple months later. And I wanted to go see him, but I couldn't. Something had come up. I forget what it is at this point. But again, we were just like, don't worry about it. There'll be plenty of other times and we'll meet up again. And then he passed away a couple months after that. So I'm grateful that I did get to know him for a little while. But again, that's seriously the only thing that I found as a pure positive out of that experience was him.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for taking my questions. I was always thoroughly curious. I do have your graphic novel. And I was just thrilled when I came into Comicsgate January 2019 that you were accessible, to communicate to, and you just made one of my longtime dreams, so to speak, come true. Talking to you about the film, because Roddy Piper. I didn't know him personally, but he had such a presence on screen, such a natural presence.
Oh, yeah.
I always admired that gentleman. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he was fantastic. And anyone it's really funny because before he got signed on to do the film, I had done a sketch card of him. And it was for someone else. They had ordered a sketch of Roddy Piper for me because they were going to meet him at a convention. And then they took a picture of him with the card. So it was kind of funny that like 2 years after that picture was taken, I was talking to him and I was like, you remember this time? I was like, you probably get all this stuff all the time and this and that. And with the sketch card, like a tiny little trading card, and the guy took a picture and he's like, I don't know. He's like, send me the picture. He's like, I can't remember. There's so many of those things. And then he was, whether it was true or not, he sure made me believe it that he did remember. So when he saw the picture, he was like, oh yeah. He's like, I totally remember. It was from that show and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, he's like, this little short guy, right? And I was like, because he said the guy that gave it to him. And he wasn't in the picture, but he said the guy.
Yeah.
And he described him. I was like, wow, like Roddy, like you meet thousands of people, man, all like every year. and he remembered the guy, and it was like 2 years later.
Well,
That said,
it was-
to me that he really loves his fans. He was the best.
Yeah, and it had to be a very poignant moment for him, for someone to actually hand him a sketch card. I mean,
Yeah, it was a
that
great
kind of thing
picture.
just doesn't come around every day.
Yeah, Roddy had an ear-to-ear smile. It was a great picture.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you for your time, Peter. And
thank you too, man.
Take
Take
care.
it easy. Let's see, Ashen Jackal says, Peter, do you own the rights to the film? Yes, I do. I do own the rights to the film, and we'll see what comes of that, because there's a couple different things right now that are potentially in the works. I can't really talk too much about it, but we'll see. But thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Brian says, Peter, I know you said you'd never make another film. Do you consider the overall experience a loss minus the Roddy experience? Yeah, I honestly do. I do. And this isn't to deter someone else from wanting to make a film or saying that, oh, they're all going to be, miserable experiences and your experience will be just like mine. It's me personally. This is what I'm saying as far as, the experience was such a negative to me, and just not having the passion for it. Because see, if I had a real passion for filmmaking, or I was really excited about it, I could look past all those negatives, because there's been tons of negatives making comics, but I really love making comics. I don't know what the heck else I'd do with my life between, being able to create every now and then also what I love more than anything, which is being able to help other people create and get their stuff out there. The slings and arrows that come my way in comics, I take them because I love it. Filmmaking, not so much. I could kind of just let it be, let someone else do that. That's why if someone did any of the other stories, if they wanted to actually option any of that stuff, they could do it. And I don't care anymore if they change it up because it's just such a whatever. Use the money they give me to make comics. That's what I would do with it. See, Kayla says, you remember the storm? Yeah, it was an awful storm. It was really bad. Pete says, I used to listen to Roddy's podcast back in the day. He always came off as, he was fantastic. I missed that one so bad. Piper's Pit. Man, I miss that. Great guy. Fantastic guy. I have nothing but unbelievable praise and love for Roddy. He was fantastic. Fantastic. Marigo says, man, just saw a reminder outside of the industry that hatred of comics is alive. Interesting. I wonder what happened. Huh. Screw him. GJ says Alternate Comics always puts good experiences into this world. We try, especially with the comic books. We definitely try. We try to make them as fun and as accessible and as affordable and as entertaining as possible. We really do. And all the creators, hey, look at this guy right here, Spencer Desmond of Voidwalker and Can't Kill Kate. All the creators here, they do their best too. And they really love talking to you guys and talking about comics as well. Speaking of which, with the Roddy Piper sketch card, one of the things I did want to share was some of the art that was being made for Indiegogo backers. And this was a Roddy Piper sketch card that I had made for one of our backers. So if we don't have any guests, I'll show the rest of the art. But we do have guests, so let's get to them. Let's see. What's on your mind? Jose Garcia, welcome to Comic Book Radio.
Hello, Pete, and hello to everyone in the chat. I'm in a celebratory mode. Last night, my book, Lumina Books, was completely funded. I was here on last Monday, and it's only 5 days. And as a first-time creator, I got funded, and I'm really excited. I just wanted to
fantastic.
jump in.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. I just wanted to
That's
share
Lumina
the
Vox,
enthusiasm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's it at right now?
It's 7,108 USD out of 7,000. So we're at
you just hit it.
101.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I just wanted to share, the excitement with all you guys.
That's fantastic, man. Not that I doubted you for a second.
Oh man, thanks a
Because
lot,
you
Pete.
you were a little nervous on the open mic Monday, and I didn't want to tell you, because I understand that nervousness of the crowdfunding type thing, but I was like, he's got nothing to worry about. I'm like, the only thing Jose's gonna have to worry about is, oh lordy, how am I gonna fulfill this to so many people? Because so many people are gonna back this project. He's gonna have a nice problem to worry about. But as far as funding and everything else, I knew you were gonna hit your goal. But congrats, man.
Oh,
Fantastic.
thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, so I had something, on my mind regarding what sketch therapy said, because of this success, I have some of my friends on the animation industry that are. I've seen them coming here on the chats. They don't talk that much, but I've seen them now and then, and some of my other peers from comics, and I know that people from the mainstream are just taking a peek here from for what's going on, and I just want to kind of expand on what sketch therapy said. That you need to work your way up, right? Like work your
Yep.
way up on the ladder. So I know that some of these guys are listening right now. So and some of them I know that some of them already reached to me after seeing my goal funded, and saying like things like, man, you're just so lucky, like you just got lucky because this or because of that. But
Like you fell into
yeah,
success. You didn't work your
I
ass
fell
off.
right into success, right? So what I want to say, is to everyone, these guys are guys I work on DreamWorks, on Netflix and stuff. So they kind of feel like, I believe they think like they are at the top of the game. They are at the top, at the top industries where everybody wants to get into. Um, and they feel kind of, I feel like some of these guys are kind of a little bit snobby about it. Like they already climbed the hard stairwell into success, into getting into the premier studios. But when it comes back to to crowdfunding, when it comes back to talking to the people, to the regular customer, they kind of feel like they already earned it because they already climbed their way up to all these studios. But the thing is
Oh,
that
like
when
there's like an attitude about
that
him.
there's an attitude about it, because they have already put the work to 10 plus years to get into the top, and they already made it. But they don't understand that coming here to another audience, to coming here to to it's a 180, because you have to talk straight to the customer, and it's a different, completely different experience. Because in animation, in comics, when you're on the mainstream, your only job is to convince the editor or the producer to get you hired, and you pretty much just do your work and get worried about being paid. But that's about it. But being here on Comicsgate and with all the indie crowdfunders, you actually have to convince a lot of people to open their wallet to you and even trust you, and that requires a different skill set. So most people of these guys that may be listening, I've just came into Comicsgate like about 10 months, and I was making posts, I was making fun art, I tried to tried to work my way up. So it's all about hard work, and it takes time. Because I remember that the first thing I did was, I did a fan art for that umbrella guy, and at the
Oh
time I
no way.
didn't. Yeah, and I didn't knew anyone here at CG, and I got like 3 or 5 likes on the drawing, and yeah, like it. You've I've been on this. I come from this experience that when I posted something on the groups on DreamWorks, like everybody knew you, and they all want to support you and stuff. And then you come here with the regular,
Yeah, it's like
with
the
a,
first day on a new job,
yeah,
You got to
with
prove
real
yourself.
people. Yes, yes, and you come here with real people, not just people pretending to be your friends, like you get like real feedback, you get real you coming to the real world.
Yeah, you get real and instantaneous feedback.
Yes.
You know, like my favorite, well, one of my favorite bands of all time, AC/DC, says it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Oh yeah, that's a really cool phrase, man. I love the lyrics of that one. But yeah, so they didn't see the work that it was coming straight right where I'm right now, but it was like constant, trying to get to know people, trying to get into streams, trying to putting time and effort into maybe non-paid work like fan art, like just being
Just
on
to get out there.
just
So
to
people
get
are
out
aware
there.
of what you could do. Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to climb another set of stairs to get to the top. You just don't. You're
It
not.
never ends too. It's
Yeah,
never just you reach the top and you're like, oh, okay, now I can relax. No, it's a
No.
never-ending stairwell. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can never rest. You actually need to, put your feet on the first step and then climb another and another and another. And I know it's a hard grind, and some people don't really want to climb another set of stairs. But if you want to do this, independently, if you want to earn the trust of the people, if you want to do all of that, you just really need to get out there and start doing it. It doesn't matter if you are like the top star from Disney. It doesn't matter if you're the top talent at Marvel. When you start a new, when you start finding a new audience and finding yourself in a new environment, you just have to keep pushing, man. And it's from zero to the top, and that's really cool. That's what I really like about this, because on my experience, it has been cool and it has all worked out. And I can tell you guys, meritocracy works here, and I really appreciate it, because I really love work hard and being here with you guys and sharing all with you.
Well, that's nice to hear, man, because you know what, this group, and not just this specific group, but the group of readers that are out there, the people that support indie creators, they support people who work their butts off and have a great work ethic and are genuine with them. And that's the thing, is this is a wonderful opportunity to be that kind of a person, you know. But some people, I think it's kind of like they've been used to not being that person for such a long time.
Exactly.
You know, doing like the wheeling and dealing and the schmoozing, and you have this whole thing, and you're used to like these weird kinds of interactions where it's not really the person at the end that's the customer, the viewer, the reader, whatever, that you're interacting with and selling the product to, and getting that feedback. It's somebody else along the way that's giving you approval, not necessarily feedback.
Yes.
And it's someone too where it's like, it's a whole end game process to them where they've got some skin in it and they want to make money off of you. Whereas the customer, the reader, the viewer, whatever it may be, this is somebody who they're into what you're doing because they care about it.
Exactly.
And if they really like it and it means a lot to them, well, they're going to be passionate about what it is that you're doing. So they're going to also care about what you're making, not just now, but in the future. It's a very different mindset to get a part of. But honestly, I think it's a much more healthier mindset too, because you got to work every day anyway. You got to bust your butt till you pretty much don't, and you're gone from this world. And who better to work for than yourself and the people who want to actually support and they care about you and what it is that you make. Some of these people that I think they get in here and it's like a culture shock. It's one of these things where they go, man, oh man, like I had no idea it was actually like hard work. It was, getting out there, getting in front of people, talking to people, and then, letting them know about my projects and all this other stuff. And I'm not used to this because it's such a constant thing. I'm just used to this, this other side of it where I pitch it and then I create it, I make it, I get paid. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very different thing. And I think for some people, they're not used to exactly what that is. But honestly, that's the best part about it. So I don't know. Hopefully those people fall in love with it along the way and maybe it changes their mind. But I mean, to me, this is the part that energizes you. This is the part that keeps you going.
Yeah, just being out there and seeing the one of the things working in animation is that you really actually do your art and it goes out in the world like maybe 3 or 4 years later. So you don't really get any real
And
real
sometimes
time
never at
feedback.
all.
Yeah, sometimes never at all. And being here is like super cool because if people don't like it, they will make you know. They will make straight away. So that's really cool.
How
What
do
I've
you
been,
like that so far? Is that fun or is that
oh,
not fun?
it's super fun. It's super fun because it's well, for me this is super new. I mean, I tried it before, but I didn't have the people skills or I was super. I was super shy way before when I was working on the studio. Like I just wanted to draw, keep my head down. But just hearing about all of these guys talking their heart out and seeing the passion, sometimes I just you kind of fell in love with with some of their personalities, and it
Oh
gives you.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
believe
you back the projects as much as you back the people. Yeah.
yeah, because at some point I feel that seeing someone succeed kind of makes gives you this sort of permission that you thought you needed, and seeing all these successful guys with these really cool attitudes kind of like inspires you, and that's what we love to do. That's what I'd love to do, inspire some people to get out there. What I will tell them is that it's one thing that I've been learning recently, that seeing some campaigns and some people that sometimes I just see some people that say that I don't like doing this, but I'm doing this because I just need a campaign out there. But what I will advise is like and somebody told me this, like, if you're going to do something, if you are going to choose to do something with choose something that you will love to do even if it fails. So even if this campaign would have failed, I will totally be loving doing this, right? So it will be a total win for my soul for being happy and all of that. So just don't go with the peer pressure of just having a campaign for sake of having a campaign. Like, just do the thing you like the most, and
Yeah.
even if you fail, I've heard about your movie experience. Like,
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's very similar to that, you know?
yeah. So if you're doing a comic in which you're not enjoying it, at the end of the day, you will say that it was a loss. So even if one of these campaigns don't really get funded, if this wasn't funded, at least having the time to make this, it will be super positive for my life. So just something you do even if it fails, and that feels awesome.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is you're doing this because you want to build a career out of this. You want to build a life out of this. It's not just something. Oh, I guess I'll try it out. I guess I'll make a comic today.
Yeah.
That's not really what you're doing, and that's what I was trying to talk about with the movie thing too. Is that for me, it's not something that I wanted. I couldn't chalk it up to like a learning experience because I'll use this for my next one. It was more like, no, it taught me. It was still a learning experience, but it taught me that this isn't the world for me. This isn't what I want to do. Comics is where I want to stay, and that's where I'm going to be forever. I don't really plan on doing anything other than that with my life. So, it's fantastic for you that you're having great success with this. Everybody, Lumina Vox right now is on Indiegogo, 7,108 raised. Congrats to you, Jose, for reaching your goal with 55 days left. Goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
Thanks a lot, Pete.
When I talked to you, it just launched, and now it's funded.
Yeah. So crazy, right?
That's crazy. Instantaneous for me, not for you though, I'm sure.
Oh, it's been a hard way, a long way, jumping on streams and such. But I don't know. It's super cool. It's super cool doing all this. But I don't want to keep you a lot more. I'd love to talk a bit more, but I know there are other guests, so I don't want to overcome my welcome. But thanks a lot, Pete, and thanks a lot for having this show on the weekend, because I don't really actually have anything to watch on the weekends. So this is a really
Oh,
cool.
nice.
It's a really cool. Spot on my schedule to just tune out and hear all these wonderful people talk and get inspired. So thanks a lot again, Pete, and thanks for all the backers. And if you haven't checked out Lumina Box, go check it out.
All right. Thank you so much, Jose. Really appreciate you, man. And congrats again.
Thanks,
Fantastic.
man. See ya. Have a great day.
You too. Oh, man. Congrats to Jose. Lumina Vox funded. 5 days in. 55 days left to back it, but don't wait on it, guys. Check it out. It looks really great. Really great. Man. Jose with the energy. You got to love that. You got to love that. Fantastic. All right. We got our next guest here. And before I get to them, I just want to say this is going to be a slightly shorter show today. I'm going to only be on for another 15 to 20 minutes or so. So keep that in mind, the next guests that are coming up. And our next one is Fizchozo. What's up, Fizchozo?
I'm here to talk about race and storytelling.
Okay.
Because if you don't know, race is actually a plot point in Goofanoid. You know about my Patreon already, right?
Yeah. I think you said that last week when you were here.
Yeah. See, how race is usually portrayed in most mainstream Hollywood stories is there's always white supremacy and racism. The definition of racism in Hollywood is different from the real normal people. The definition of racism for normal people is prejudice against a person based on the color of their skin. But in Hollywood, racism is Judeo-Christian society, which has nothing to do with what racism is from normal person's perspective. Like, because in my comic, racism at periods is portrayed as bad, and there are multiple races in the story, not just white supremacists, but also black supremacists. Over the course of the future issues, if I ever get past first issue.
Okay, so you're talking about racism not in terms of a specific, one race being the perpetrators of racism, but the fact that all races can perpetrate racism and be the victims of such.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
I think people would have to be absolutely insane to argue otherwise, although I've seen it.
I know. Yes, because there are white supremacists in the story, but there are also black supremacists and Mexican gangs who are racist. It works all ways, and there are plenty of good people of all races in the story.
Absolutely, yeah.
But thing is, will the mainstream accept that? Probably. But it's different. Reason why I started thinking, because I just heard about the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. I haven't watched it because I don't have Disney Plus. I could pirate it, but I won't because I don't care about it, like at all. Like what? I don't care about none of Marvel's TV shows.
I'm in the same boat with you. Did you see when I had Sketch Therapy on? He was talking about the show.
Yeah, I actually heard some of it.
Okay.
I don't actually care about Marvel's TV shows. I ain't about Marvel movies now. I actually stopped caring when after the Avengers Endgame. But and Moon Knight, that's the only TV show I'm looking forward to, since I actually do like the characters from the comic book and stuff. I read some of the '80s comics. I pirated on my computer. But it's like this, what's wrong with the Judeo-Christian society? I don't know. How is it inherently racist? Like, the religion of Christianity itself was created by brown people in the Middle East. So how is that inherently racist? That doesn't make any sense.
I think because it's not necessarily what they're talking about is racism per se. I think maybe it's more about power. You know, I
Yes.
think it's more about different. And this is what it's always been about. Everything is always about the powerful dividing everything among those who do not have power, the powerless. At least they want you to believe that you are the powerless. That's kind of always been the thing. So it's about trying to figure out, well, how do we get people to focus more on dividing each other and hating each other than really looking at us and going, hey, they're the ones causing the problem. So, you know, think about, you know, in terms of powerful people against powerless people, generally in society, you have a few, you know, compared to the many. So a few powerful, many powerless. And if you're in the powerful dynamic here, in the little demographic, you get really scared at the idea every day of all of those many powerless people actually realizing that combined they are far more powerful than you. So you need to devise a plan every single day to make sure that they are busy and distracted and very angry and emotionally manipulated, and take out those frustrations among each other. Because if they take it out upon you, the one in power, the one that can do something to benefit or degrade their lives, well, you're probably going to be swinging sometime soon. So you want to make sure that everybody hates each other and not you. And that's usually what this is. This is something about power and abuse of power by people who have it. It's usually never really about, and this is for anything and everything, it's usually never really about, you know, whatever they want to call it. They have all kinds of different names for all of this nonsense, but it's all about people saying, you know, look at them over there. They have a shirt on, and that shirt is there's a symbolism behind that, and there's hatred there. You should go hate them. And then they say, oh, really? They don't seem to be doing anything. Trust us. They're wearing this kind of shirt. That means that they're hateful. Okay, I hate them now. And that's literally how stupid the whole thing is it's as dumb as that. And a lot of people will not buy into it, but a lot will. And all you need is a couple of them to really get passionate about it and buy into it. And then they can do all the dirty work for you. So if you're a powerful person, you don't have to even do anything wrong. And then when they do all the wrongdoings, you get to say all these things where, oh, well, you know, I don't agree with that. I don't approve of that, and all this other nonsense. But you never actually do anything about it, though. You just say that you don't like it. And then it looks like, oh, that person, he's so understanding, and, you know, he or she, because women do it too. You know, they say, oh, they're so understanding and they care. Well, if they care, why don't they do anything? And many people wonder those things and they see through it. But again, many do not. And that is what they're counting on, that most of the people do not count on it. So all this kind of stuff, don't rattle your brain too hard about, you know, these things in terms of how you see it perceived in the mainstream, especially. They want you to think what they want you to think. But you know better than that, and that's
plot
great.
point in my story. See, in Goofanoid, there's this could just be a spoiler that this comes later down the road, but there's an organ harvesting cult of old people who are actually suing division for the purposes of isolating people, so that they can kidnap those people and harvest their organs through various means, because they're trying to keep themselves alive for a naturally long amount of time. So I actually have that in the story. There's also lots of cult stuff involved and monsters involved, but you get the point.
Yeah, you touch upon many different subjects.
In addition to that, there's also a whole thing. This character called the Critic, whose entire purpose is to sue the division, and he's this guy who wears blue suit on, an orange hat, and is very slender, and his whole entire stick is criticizing society, and that will somehow make it crumble. And he calls for violence, and while he calls for violence, he actually reaps the benefits while other people lose their houses and lose their jobs, social media attacks. the stuff you seen certain people do on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing too. Is social media, especially, is something that I think people in power are very scared of, because it has the ability to unite us across the board. And once you realize, hey, that person is not my enemy. This person is basically just like me. Sure, we don't agree on everything, but we agree on most things. We have a lot of things in common. How can I hate them? How can I hate someone who I'm so similar to? And that's the power of social media. And they want to use that and turn it against us. And that's the thing that's so sad to see, is that in many ways they are succeeding in using that. But man, they're trying very, very, very hard, because not everyone is getting with that kind of nonsense, which is great to see, because they don't exist just on social media. They exist in the real world, the actual world, the world where you go out to the store, or you have a job, or you do things and you meet other people, you have family, you have friends, and you have conversations and you get to know people. Breaking down that wall and just having us all kind of stay within our homes, be scared, live online, live in front of the TV, only believe what we're told. That puts you down a path that is just not real, but they manipulate that way. And it's sad to see, but that's been going on for forever. It's just now we see it being used so much so because of social media. It's just very easy to do such a thing. And it's I don't know, it's unfortunate, man.
I already knows this started happening around 2016 or 2015, 2016. That's that when the Gamergate happened. I wasn't part of that. I wasn't really online yet. Keep in mind, I just turned 18 last year. So
You just turned 18?
Last year.
Wow, wise beyond your years. I thought you were much older. I'm glad you see through it.
I know, but thing is, I live in a very religious household, quite religious household. I'm not a Christian, but I pray to another God, but I live in a very religious household. You need to know that.
Okay.
So it's I've heard stories about Gamergate and Anita Sarkeesian, and I think Anita Sarkeesian was there just to sue the vision. I mean, did she even play any of those games she criticized? Because I know more about those games. I don't even have a video game console. I just watch Let's Plays.
Well, I think what people like her are concerned about, I think, is puzzling to me, because it kind of brings up something that had occurred. I think I saw one of the things that she had said revolved around rescuing like a princess or something. And I think it touched upon the Mario game. And I mean, the game is so old that it's just like, is that the only game you know of? There's so many other games. There's so many other things that have happened in gaming since.
I know.
But they never really touch upon that of the and that's the thing though, is that's diversity. Diversity is representational of everything. That's actually what true diversity is. So when people talk about that kind of stuff, it just seems like, well, I mean, play some other games too and just see what else is out there. It's not all the same stuff.
It also seemed like far left and far right is basically the same. I mean, both call for women to dress in burqas. That's what Keys is basically asking for. You know how she kept criticizing all female characters can't have large breasts, must be fully clothed all the time. It's like
I try not to. I try not to pay too much attention to someone like that, but I guess if that's what they're saying, I guess that's what you're telling me. Interesting.
Also, I heard that this person worked at Warner Brothers video game studios. Who was part of Gamergate, but then actually became a video game developer. Who worked on the Harry Potter video game that's coming out. He actually got fired or laid off. Which was that social media cancellation campaign, or? I
wish I could have an opinion on that. I don't. I've never heard anything about that. I don't know the details behind that.
His first name is Tony.
Tony. I don't know. It's not any Tony I know.
Okay. Also, I heard you made a movie.
Yes.
Did you? Well, back when?
Back in 2015. It came out in like 2017.
What's it called?
The Chair. You could check it out. It's on Tubi. It's on Amazon Prime. There's a couple other places too.
Is it based on one of your published works or?
Yep, it's based on the graphic novel that I made back in 2008, and then it was republished as a 4-issue miniseries in 2017.
Okay. Because I have a whole slew of ideas for horror graphic novels. Well, not just horror, but also adventure books. But the primary purpose of horror graphic novels in my comic book universe is to introduce either new characters or new ideas that will be used later in the superhero stories.
Oh yeah, you could do that. Yeah,
a lot of them are character studies of new villains that will show up later. I have a graphic novel in the works that's based off Elfen Lied, which is an anime that I watched either last year or the year before that. This is either somewhere around late 2019 or early 2020. I watched that for the first time.
all right.
Yeah, you heard of Elfen Lied, right?
Yeah, I unfortunately though have to let you go, Fizchozo, because I got one more person waiting, and then I've got a jet. So thank you so much for being on the show, man. I hope you take it easy today, and stay off the Twitters. It's good for you.
Okay, bye.
Take it easy. Oh boy. Let's see. Uncanny Kodiak, how's it going?
Up, Pete?
What's on
How
your
you
mind,
doing, brother? Can you hear me?
I'm doing good. Yes, I can.
Clear, not over.
Very clear.
Good. First, I'd like to say hi, how do I say it? Hail, hi, and hello to the chat. I see a lot of my good buddies in there. What's up, Sketch? What I have to ask today, a lot of newbies might be feeling the same thing. I notice people who's published before, they're not afraid to just put a new character out there. They're like, they'll go all over whatever platform they have, and they'll start mentioning the name of the character. So my question is about protecting your IP, especially as I noticed the nervousness is kind of a common trait to us newbies, the people who are getting out. We have this great idea, we have this great name, and we might not have the money for a trademark or a copyright, and we're nervous about putting it out there. Now, I know there used to be a thing called poor man's copyright or trademark. I don't remember which was. And a lot of people say that the internet kind of publishes your work, at least for a time. Like if you start talking about this book, if you start talking about it on the stream, if you mention this character's name and concept idea, then you have a little time to work with it, especially with this world of Indiegogo and independent, this boom of independent books. What is your suggestion? Say all of a sudden you have this book named Blood Realm. What do you do? Now, you've been this in a while. You probably have funds put back to go ahead with the copyright, to go ahead and put that into play. But say I have,
Well, Alterna doesn't copyright anything. It's all creator owned. So all the creators have to copyright their own works. Okay. Alterna doesn't own anything here. But as far as, copywriting and trademarking and things like that, I mean, if you trademark anything, you end up having to make sure that you can also defend it. Yeah. Because if someone ends up infringing upon that trademark, let's say that they all of a sudden start using the Alterna Comics logo, and I just let them use it to publish the comics, or I just let them use it to make merchandise or whatever, and I don't say anything whatsoever. You really start setting a precedent where you can't really have a legal standing to defend this thing later on. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you lose trademark if you don't defend it. Like a lot of people get, I think, mixed up with this kind of thing when they see artist alleys and there's all kinds of different fan art and stuff like that being sold. But it doesn't mean that Marvel and DC lost their trademark to those things. It just means that, if they come in and they want to all of a sudden try to sue you and say, well, you need to give us money because you sold this commission or these prints or whatever it may be, If you have a good legal team, they can actually dig up a bunch of times where they did not defend and pursue legal action against those people, and most likely that case gets thrown out. Is it expensive still? Yeah, it's a harrowing and time-consuming experience. But as far as just protecting your work goes, and not necessarily going down the deep end of thinking, okay, well, you got to make sure that legally you protect yourself. As far as protecting your work and copyright and trademark and all that stuff goes, I mean, for the most part, as soon as you publish your stuff, as soon as you get that thing dated, as soon as, I mean, you could do the poor man's copyright thing. There's been cases where that's been thrown out, though, depending on the judge and if you don't pursue it at a higher court. But even within copyright, it's still there's still cases, though, where people can bring up something and go, oh, well, they must have stole the idea from me. They must have been influenced from something by me. And then maybe you have to pay damages if they can make that case. It's a very interesting topic, but
if you have an Instagram post from 3 years before that claim where you're working on your character, and that plays into you published it, you said, here's my character, doesn't that fall into play? And especially with like Indiegogo, that's kind of a poor man's copyright. You're publishing that work. You're saying, hey, you know, and is that enough of a placeholder until you can maybe build the funds to get it? Because a trademark, I believe, is expensive, right?
It's not too expensive. It's maybe like $300 to $400.
Well, you know, for
it could be more, though, depending upon the nature of the mark and a bunch of other things. It could definitely be more. But as far as what you're talking about, and people should be maybe worried about copyright or trademark or getting infringed upon those things. I mean, unless you're prepared to sue someone or defend them, you know, the creation in a court of law and actually prosecute these people for infringement, which is very, very expensive.
What sketches say? What sketches saying you're trading it before anyone else, and that helps, right?
Yeah, you're developing basically a paper trail. You know, so if you have all of this kind of published work and dated work and all this other stuff, and you have a long history that you're doing this, I mean, it's inarguable. But
I have a perfect solution. Alterna publishes my book.
Well, Alterna publishes your book. I mean, that could be, you know, something you can use, but you don't need to just have that, you know, at the time. You could easily just even get a copy printed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I appreciate you so much. It's been bugging my mind for a while now. I think many small new creators, they're like, well, what if I put this out there? And, you know, everybody's like, that's a great idea. Let me, you know.
Keep in mind, too, copyright is actually very affordable. But trademarking is a little more expensive and a little more legal, you know, precedent has to be set, and you have to defend it, and you have to pursue action, cease and desist letters, all this kind of stuff. It's not necessarily something that I think most people are going to worry about, but it's one of those things. It's like insurance. You know, you don't really think anything's going to happen, but that's why you get insurance, is because just in case something does. So it's kind of an insurance kind of thing where you're like, well, at least God forbid, you know, I got that protected and whatever. But at the end of the day, could you still win a trademark or copyright case without such things? Yeah, you still could. But it's going to be expensive. Anytime anyone starts bringing in lawyers and legal this and legal that, the only people that end up winning that kind of thing are the lawyers.
Have you ever had any scares or near miss with that kind of thing?
Yeah, we've had a couple idiots that are like, oh, I got the copyright and a trademark to the word chair. And I just go, sue me.
Yeah.
And they you know, they threaten and they get mad and then they go away.
Was it Kanye West in The Color Blue or something like that? Or Drake?
It's as stupid as that. But yeah, a lot of people, and that's kind of almost a telltale sign of anyone, I think, when they start getting ridiculous and they start threatening legal action publicly, especially. It's like, yeah, okay, all right, sue me, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ridiculousness. People get very heated about it. A lot of it is kind of just chest puffery, and they're trying to intimidate you. But most people don't have to worry about stuff like this. And even if you are worried, just make sure that you keep your records, you got everything, you know, in order, and that's the best you can do. even at the end of that, though, I mean, you could still end up losing a copyright claim if, in fact, someone else can prove their case better than you can prove your history of your work.
All right. I think that pretty much handles it. I appreciate you so much. And one more time, hail the MFing chat. I think that's all for me today.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right.
Have a good one.
Later.
Very interesting question. Let's see. Gerald says, art question. How does watercolor and art in comics print on newsprint from your experience? Oh, it prints great. Let me see. We got one more person in the green room waiting, and then that's going to be it for the day. But so, you know, this isn't watercolor necessarily, but red koi the coloring is very watercolor-esque, and it prints great. Nick Welch does the colors on red koi. They're digital, I believe. He also does the colors on Can't Kill Cade, but they show up fantastic. It's very different now with the printing technology for newsprint. All right, up next we have Jake Tvista. What's up, Jake?
Hey, Pete. How you doing?
Hey.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take this opportunity to just do some people talking practice. I got a terrible track record when it comes to that, so yeah, allow me to have the opportunity. But I could just start from from piggybacking from the previous guest. Hey, chat, by the way, and it sort of like pertains to the whole the boundaries of copyright. I'm uniquely situated where I'm in Norway, and it is sort of like a difficult thing to grasp business-wise when it becomes like an international affair. When it pertains to like copyright and trademarks, so I don't know if I should be doing that on U.S. soil or if I should do that on Norwegian soil, and if I should have like a local kind of lawyer look through the whole process.
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily advise people right or wrong legally on what they can do, especially if they're not even in this country where I have no clue as far as how the copyright law would work for you.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, talk to a lawyer, talk to a copyright lawyer, of course, or just even investigate it yourself and see if there's a copyright registry in your country that you can easily access. Like it's relatively easy to access that kind of stuff in the US. I don't know how easy it is elsewhere.
Well, it is not that hard, but considering what was mentioned about creating like a paper trail through history, I was wondering if that was efficient enough to do that online just by simply like doing blogs about your projects or provably.
I would never really trust. Yeah, going back to the other caller's point, I would never really trust anything you post online as being admissible in a court of law, only because of the fact that there's a lot of different things that occur in terms of relying upon their server, their site, that kind of information. You want an inarguable hard copy. So if you're really worried about copyright, printing, that kind of stuff, you know, go out of the way to get it at least printed, get it made. Even if all you did was take take your book to a print on demand place, Kablam, or there's a couple other ones too, and just print even a copy. This way you can have dated receipt, you can have all these kinds of other things. You can actually have the physical copy there. You can have the, you know, save the box it came in, or not even open it up. You could do that too. But as far as relying upon like a blog or social media post or anything like that, I wouldn't rely too heavily on that. It's kind of something that's a little bit more of a gray area. You want to make sure you actually have the physical item.
Right. Yeah. I do have like an IP that I'm working on right now, which is like a detective sort of thing. And I did have that sort of launched with a print on demand through Lulu.
Oh, good.
And I did secure the copyright, but my question is then, since it is published and printed in the U.S. through my editor, who is an American, would that fall under the jurisdictions in America, or would that still be a copyright that is being like pertained to me in my local vicinity? if you do have
hard
like
to
an
say.
answer. Yeah.
It's hard to say. Yeah. It sounds like you guys are really interested in copyright and trademark law. Maybe I'll get somebody on the show and we could do a discussion on that and they can clear it up. But
Right.
as far as different countries and their rules for things like that and the regulations, I'm really not well versed in how to file for one and the stipulations of everything. I'm barely versed in it, honestly, when it comes to this country because it's such a weird and nebulous topic. So I don't want to necessarily steer anyone down the wrong path or give them advice in this area where I don't know if it's actually going to pan out, because there's been so many different cases all over the place where sometimes it doesn't even matter if you have copyright protection. It turns into, well, this other person, it supersedes your copyright protection because they actually ended up creating this before you. And even though they didn't get it copywritten, it devalues and unvalidifies yours. I mean, it's kind of a weird thing because you would think, well, why would they give me the copyright if this other thing existed? Well, they only know what they're presented with. And it's interesting to see because it's all about the case that's presented. It's a very expensive, time-consuming, frustrating process. But it's something that I think, it's kind of interesting to go down, but I don't know if it's necessarily something that I think a lot of people have to worry about. I think there's a lot that you can do that's going to be enough to protect yourself for the most part.
Right. Like what Marv V says in the chat, he submitted an 8-pager for Arrow Comics. I'm in the same. I'm with Arrow Comics as well, in that I'm publishing an 8-pager in the same anthology that he's publishing in. I think he's in there, but I'm still involved in that book, so I might have secured myself at least in the U.S. On that front, but I'm still unsure if I am, and if I do have like any grounds to do that. I don't have like an LLC, so I should probably get around to like create a studio, and then search with my local registry for that.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, every single indie creator out there should be registering as an LLC, and especially if you can. I don't know if you can do it in other countries, but in the U.S., register as an S corp. There's a lot of different tax incentives and bonuses and all kinds of other stuff that you can actually apply for and take advantage of as an S corp, as opposed to just a sole proprietor or as a corporation. If you're an entrepreneur, and especially if you're alone, never. That's a whole other show. I don't want to go down that. I don't want to go down that road. But there's a lot of different. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff that's all a part of that.
Oh yeah, I do have some kind of like plan after I'm leaving uni, where I'm going to register as an LLC. But the way like searching for like an sub S or other things around here, it works differently, and at the same time, I do need like social support or like financial support, first and foremost. So I do know that my welfare system has like this built-in function that for any like upstarts pertaining to like one-man bands, they can register for benefits, so that they can like get a financial bonus as an upstart in a sense, and that'll last for about like 8 to 12 months, give or take. It's like a weird, complicated thing that I haven't really put myself into, but I'm gonna like throw myself more into the ringer come summer.
All right. Well, I guess that's going to be it because I also have to go.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for your question, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by today on the show. And I hope you managed to clear up whatever it is you're trying to find out, and I hope you can get that stuff copywritten in your country.
Yeah.
All right,
thanks, man.
Take it easy.
Take care.
All right, man. You guys seem to be very interested in that stuff. Maybe I'll have to see about getting somebody on at some point. I don't know. All right, guys. That's going to be it for me. I am done for possibly all of today. I think so. Before I do leave, I do want to just show you guys some art real quick. Frankie B. Washington made that. One Punch Man. I made this Lovecraft. These are for Indiegogo backers. Frankie B. Washington made this Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is a Magnanimo from the actual Roger that I had made. Abigail Moore from Tinseltown. Tyler Wentland made The Mummy. And again, these are Indiegogo backer sketch cards. Roddy Piper. That one's mine. Here was here's a Red Koi sketch cover from Tyler. This one's from Clint Stoker, of course, of Downcast. These are also for Indiegogo backers too. Frankie's sketch cover, Legends of Log. He did a fantastic job on this. Man, oh man. Really great. Frankie's ridiculous. This is Rob Geronimo's Wirehead and it came out on a Wednesday. There's a couple other Alterna artists. I think Ryan Wynn and Spencer have to get some stuff into me. Frankie did this Gorn from Blood Realm on a Blood Realm sketch cover there. So yeah, some great art from people at Alterna. And I'm waiting on a couple others, but they're all going to be coming in very, very soon. I think Hank Tucker has a bunch to draw as well. I got some more to draw, and I think it's a sketch cover and a couple sketch cards too. But then we'll be all set. Everything should be done by the time all the stuff gets into us. And then I can start shipping everything out. I'm looking forward to getting in that big, big shipment of books. Good stuff. All right, guys. Thank you so much once again for joining us today. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening, a wonderful day, and take care of each other. See ya.
Comic.